This is my local National Trust place, and this is basically not even a mile from where I live. But I have driven up here today. Yes, I'm fat and lazy, I know that. But having to carry that lot, I didn't fancy walking about half a mile up the road with that on my back. Anyway, this is where we are. This is going to be another lens review with a bit of a difference. This one, we are not reviewing a Canon lens this time. We're reviewing a Sigma 60-600. I'm going to be taking shots of this, or with this, from the maximum distance to the shortest distance it'll do. That's 60-600 of course, and the largest and smallest aperture on the machine at the same time, so you can get to see any faults or defects with it, what you like or what you don't like. I'll also, hopefully if I've got enough battery left in this little camera, be recording it with a multiplier 2 times, which takes it between 120 to 1200. Again, I'll be taking shots with that maximum aperture, minimum aperture, what it'll let me go to with that extension on it, because it'll probably be different to what it is when it's the normal lens. 120 to 1200. So we'll get into the video, and I'll go and show you. I'll go and get the lens and show it to you. Right, there we go. Here's the beast. That's the Sigma. I don't know if you can see on there. It's a Sigma, and that is 60 all the way around to 600. There you go. This thing weighs about the same as a small newborn baby. No, not 13 pounds. It's 6 pounds 11 ounces this thing weighs in English. There you go, and that's 120. I think it's 125 millimeter diameter across the front of the lens as well. So if you buy filters for it, they're going to be expensive. I'll set this camera up on the tripod and get the thing rigged up, and we'll have a look at it. Also comes with a hood, as you can see. I always put that at the top, just because I like it neat. There you go. There's a lock button on the side, and that lock button allows you the zoom to move in and out, like so. So we're at 60 there, and we're out at 600. And when you get to a position, say like that's 300, you can lock it. So you can't then move this. But what you can't do is lock it in between the digits. So you have to set it up to either what it says on the dial, 60, 70, so on. And if there's a digit there, like this is now on 200, I can lock it. So I can lock it to 200. Unlock, move backwards and forwards. There's 4 other buttons on the side of this. Now I'll attempt to tell you what they are, because I'm not sure myself half the time. We've got focus mode, which is fair enough. That's autofocus, manual focus, and there's an MO. I'm not sure what that means. Then you've got another mode, which is obviously full, 6 meters to infinity, or up to 6 meters. Well, I think 6 meters, yeah, it might be, yeah, that's right. And then underneath you've got an OS switch, which has got a number, which is either 1, 2 or off. And then there's a custom button which you can set, which I haven't set, but you can. C1, C2 and off, which is another custom switch underneath. So yeah, it's quite a complicated, reasonably heavy lens. And this is the sport version, this one as well. But being as it's a Sigma, when it was purchased, it comes with it. I've got it with obviously a Canon adapter, because Canon's what I use. And I've had to put, because it only comes as a EF mount, I need it for an R mount. So I've got the adapter here, which clips on like so, which then in theory means that the camera should clip on like so. You do have to be careful when you're putting a big lens like this onto a camera, because you can cause damage for the simple reason the lens weighs so much, and it can be awkward, especially with somebody like hands like I've got. So just be careful. Right, the view you can see now down here is looking down over the hills, because we're actually in a valley here in Tivy, and there's the hill, one of the hills the other side, and it's just a long aspect so that you can see the lens at minimum zoom and maximum zoom. Right, the first shot I'm going to do is with this Sigma, is at 60mm. We're at f9, we're at ISO 100, and we're on 1/80th of a second. Now 60mm straight down the middle, and these shots are done for demonstration only. They're not done for being perfect shots, so please don't judge them on being brilliant, because they're not very interesting. They're just here to show you the lens. Right, let's focus that into the centre. Right, 60mm, done. Right, what I'll do is I'll put the 60 and the 600 up together, so you'll see the minimum and maximum, and you can compare the two. No movement in the setup apart from on zoom right into 60. Well, there's going to be a bit of a movement because that's gone straight onto a tree. I'm going onto the hills at the back basically because it's so big. And luckily I've got this tripod which is actually giving me an idea, or giving you an idea, I hope. Right, I'm focusing on the hills at the back. As I said, there's been no movement in the tripod to the point that I've not moved the tripod to any other place. Yes, I've had to adjust the camera because the zoom's so big. You wait till we get on the 1200. Now there is a tree, this is taken of the hills at the back. This one's on f9, ISO 100, and 1/80th of a second. What I'll do is I'm going to set this also on a 2-second timer, for the simple reason to cut out any vibration, because I'll touch this, it's going to move. Set, right, I'm going to set that on a 2-second timer because of the distance, so there's no vibrations. That's a fairly well focused shot. Okay, I'll take this shot and I'll put the two up together, remembering this is the max and the other one was the minimum on this lens. There you go, that's taken that one. Right, what I've done now is I'm going to concentrate. This lens is exactly the same with this, because I took that 600 shot, the first one. I've now literally zoomed it straight back from that. So we're not on the hills anymore, we're on the entire scene, which you'll see when I take the shot. This particular one, we're on the aperture, I'm going for the aperture. Now the minimum aperture you can, the maximum opening aperture you can have on this is 4.5 on this lens, stuck at 60mm. So that means that the ISO's on 100 and the shutter speed is 320th of a second. Again, I'm doing it on a 2-second timer, which I should have done the first ones as well really, but hey ho. It's on focus in the middle. I'll take this shot, and then this is, remembering this one is at 4.5 aperture. Now we've done that, move the aperture from 4.5 to f22, because it will go to f22. So these shots I'll be putting up together for you in sequence, and I'll be putting the actual settings up on each shot so you know which is which, in case it's just so it doesn't get so confusing, because I'm getting confused while I'm doing this. Right, focus that. This is at f22, remember it's the smallest hole, ISO 100, 1/25th of a second actually, and the ISO is 100, and we're at focal length is 60mm. 2-second timer. Done. Right. So I don't confuse myself. At least I hope I'm not confusing myself, because if I'm confusing me, I'm confusing you. I don't mean to confuse you, because I'm a dipstick. Right, as you can see from looking at the lens, we're now up to 600. This time I'm going to be doing the aperture on this one at 600mm, minimum and maximum. Now the minimum, I say the minimum, it's actually the maximum hole size, but it's the minimum number, which is f6.3. That's the largest it will open to at 600 millimeters. Shutter speed is 640th of a second at ISO 100. Now this time again, because it's 600 mil, it's going to be the hills in the background. Otherwise you're going to get no perspective of anything else really. Exactly. Oh. Right, it's on a 2-second timer. Remembering this is f6.3. 2-second timer. Done. Right. Aperture the other way is f32. Right. To get a decent exposure when it's at f32, shutter speed has gone down to 1/10 of a second. That's 1/10. ISO is 100, and the focal length, you're quite right, is 600. I'll take this shot and I'll put those two together so you can get an idea of what I'm doing and where I am, which will be a more idea than I've got. Right, this lens is also good for bird photography because of what it is. It's a sports lens. Whether you're using it at 60 to 600 or whether you're using it at 120 to 1200, it's a brilliant sports lens. Ideal for birds and things, but at this time of year you don't get many birds around for the simple reason that a lot of them are fledging their, sorry, not fledging, a lot of them are shedding their molting basically into their winter plumage, which means that they're not flying around, so you don't see so many. Anyway, I've got some pictures I've taken before, so what I'll do is at the end of the video I'll put some bird photos up for you showing this lens on this camera at the different lengths, so you can see what the photos are like. Right, what I'm actually doing now is I've put a extender, 2x extender on here, which is an EF2 Mk3. This is Canon's own, so I'll just show you that. There we go, Canon extender. This clips on the on and off the lens as it would. There you go. So that is a genuine Canon one. A lot of people say the photos come out a bit not quite so good with using these, but with all the software you got these days, it doesn't matter, I don't think, because if you're half decent at doing a bit of editing, then you should be able to sort any problems out like that, if there are any, of course. Anyway, let's put this on and we'll get on with the video and I'll show you the next part of it. Right, again, when you're putting a camera onto gear that weighs a ton, you need to be very careful so you don't mess up the fittings, whether it's the EF side or the RF side. Anyway, this thing is now 120 mil to 1200. This will be interesting. Right, with this 2x extender or multiplier, as I call it, we're now looking at a focal length of 120 millimeters. At minimum, you've got you've got 1/250th of a second, f13, and the ISO has gone up. I'll put it up to 800. You might think that's high, but it's not. It's not for this. And also what I said earlier about posts and things like that, what you can do. Anyway, this is at 120 millimeter focal length. I'll take a shot of this, and then the next one we'll do will be the same again, but 1200. And those two shots I'll put up together so you can have a look at the difference in the range by using the 2x extender. This is on a 2-second timer to stop any shake. Fine. Well, the shot looks okay, actually, it's come out not bad. Well, I don't think it's too bad, but then I'm a blind old git. Anyway, the reason for the higher ISO is because obviously it's a lot longer reach, so it's a lot darker inside there. The only way I can explain this in a layman's terms. So obviously there needs to have more light getting in so that you can see the photo better, hence the reason for the higher ISO. Right, we're now at a focal length of 1200. We're on 1/250th of a second. 2-second timer, again to stop the thing, try to hold it still. F13, and the ISO is at 800. So yes, it's still picking up the light even at that distance, so that's not bad, to be fair. I'll take this shot and I'll put this up. This one can also be compared with the 600 zoomed in as well, so you can have a look at all of them and compare, and you can see everything's taken from the same lens as I said. The only difference is this multiplier in between, so you can compare the two, like, not like, or use or not use. It just gives you a larger range. It just hurts your shoulders carrying it all. Anyway, right, let's take this shot. 2-second timer again, and I'll put that up for you to see. Next thing we're going to do is aperture. Well, I don't mean to be putting my back to you, but at the end of the day, I'm just trying to show you the what I'm shooting live on this camera as well. Anyway, you can't see it from there, but I'll read out what I'm doing now. We're doing the aperture, as I said. The minimum aperture you can get, or the maximum I should say, which is wide open as far as it will go, with this thing on it, is f13. So f13 is the biggest it will go to. Remembering this is a 1200 focal length. I'm doing it in reverse this time, just to break it up a bit. Not purposely, just I forgot. Right, okay, yeah, f13, focal length is 1200, 1/250th of a second, and it's ISO 800. Right, I'll take this and I'll put this shot up for you with the others in some sort of sequence, I hope. Right, well, this is going to be the last shot of this video. So we're here literally just to, as I said, to give this lens a bit of a review. On the aperture, we're at the other end from f13, it goes right up, believe it or not, to f45 on this lens. That's f45. You're looking at 1/13th of a second. That's 1/13, f45, ISO's 800 and 120mm. And this is the other end of the aperture range, including the, remember, that's including the extender as well. Anyway, I'll focus that up, and it's on a 2-second timer and on infinity, of course. Done. Right, it's going to sound like a bit of a funny. This is just what an idiot I am. When I first started doing all this, I always used to think to myself, what the hell's that number 8 doing on there for? I couldn't understand it. Because when you're like focusing, there's all of these numbers and whatever, and I never understood them. But there's a number 8 on them, which is this. Yes, it's infinity. That's what it means. I didn't realise that when I first started doing all this years ago. But anyway, that's just, if you're a bigger idiot as I am, you don't feel stupid if you didn't know what it meant, because I didn't. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this reasonably short video. Well, I hope it's a short video, might not be, I don't know. That was 60-600 Sigma sports lens. I think they're reasonably priced. I'll put a price up at the end so you know exactly what they are. I'll check on the internet and let you know what they are at today's prices anyway. New and second hand if I can get hold of some like that. A few of the things I didn't know about, which are some of the switches on here, which I'll be totally honest about, which I have been. If anyone knows anything about them, please let me know in the comments, please. There's the switches on here were a custom one, C1 and C2 for obviously that is for setting custom settings, I know that. But it's the OS one I'm not sure about. It's got 1, 2 and off on it. I don't know what they mean by OS. And the other one's quite self-explanatory really. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that video. I certainly enjoyed making it, it's good fun. Showing you the different aspects of a single lens that can do so much. My biggest gripe about it, my really biggest gripe, is the weight of it. It's not funny carrying around 6.5 pound of stuff, I know that. Well, there's more than 6.5 pound there, I can tell you. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you on the next video, which shouldn't be too long away, I hope. Probably a week later. Thank you.